Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Wooldridge.
Today we're talking about Doom Patrol Season 2, Episode 6, Space Patrol. Larry is tasked with handling Niles' old research team when the ageless aeronauts return from space. As Niles and Cliff set out to find a missing Dorothy, a funeral in the underground occupies Jane's mind. Meanwhile, Vic discovers a curious connection between Roni and S.T.A.R Labs, and Rita finds that her role in the upcoming community theater production hits too close to home. Yes, it sure does. I think the shortest story is Rita's, and we can talk about that really quick.
Solid joke.
It is not Our Town. Have you ever seen Our Town?
No.
It is. I mean, it's been around forever.
Yes.
Literally every community theater has always done Our Town. I will say, I saw a production of it. I enjoyed it. I never need to see it again. And so I was like, thank God we're not doing it. But this is worse.
Yeah, for Rita, definitely.
For Rita. And I did like the exploration for Rita of I'm talking with a woman that is playing the blob lady.
Yes.
And that like there's actual like she actually did some depth. Like she like tried to figure out why this blob lady would be like that. And then the end is not great.
Yeah.
I like Rita's got a nemesis now.
Rita's got a nemesis now. I like, how do we talk about the donkey? It's like, how would you talk about the donkey if that happened to your town? I love the idea that, you know, you're in, like, we've established that the Justice League exists in this universe. So, like, could you imagine you've got, you know, there's people in the world that just want to see Superman, or there's this crisis and like Wonder Woman shows up and you're the town that's by the Doom Patrol. So you get sucked up a donkey's ass. That is your superhero story, is like people are sharing their superhero experiences and you're the one that got to do Doom Patrol and you're like, nah, I'm good. We don't need to spend any time on this one. But I also like the bit when she's talking to the actress that's playing her. An actress is like, yeah, I assume she's trying to impress her father. And he's like, mother. She's like, oh, mother. That's really good. That's better.
And I did, and that story was pretty self-contained.
Yeah.
Favorite line of the whole episode is Larry runs in. He's like, there's a spaceship outside. And Niles' first thing he says is, tell him I'm not here.
Niles sucks.
I'm not here.
Niles sucks.
Niles, you suck.
Oh, you know what? Before the ending, obviously spoilers. We're assuming you've watched the episode. If you haven't, go watch it. The show's great. But Niles sucks, and that was a moment of like, and I like the escalation of Niles sucking. Tell them I'm not here, and then when they go to find Dorothy, there's another spaceship. He's like, yeah, when the other one didn't show up, I didn't think we'd need to use this one. And you're like, not even to go find them? Like, what are you are the worst. And then of course we get the ending, but this is another, I think Niles only works because of Timothy Dalton, because they want to have this place where it's like, you want to like Niles, but everything Niles does is the worst. And I think that balancing act only exists because Timothy Dalton's so magnetic and so inherently likable, because otherwise you just put down on paper what he does and you're like, yeah, Niles blows.
Yeah. Genuinely.
Yeah.
And and by the way, MVPs of the episode are two male aeronauts.
Yes.
You know what? I hope they had a great relationship before they died. You know, like I hope that they loved each other and like they had a good time. That chipper kind of what how would you describe their relationship? It's like this overly enthusiastic.
Yes.
Americana, like patriotic, homoerotic friendship, male friendship that means is probably something else. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just so like something about it is so endearing and hilarious, and it's like, yes, of course, this is this is an exaggeration of how people like thought America was great.
Yeah,
and that entire look, like the look of their suits, the look of the spaceship, and their whole attitude is great. Like it's Specs and Zip. I think those are the two people. I think those are. I apologize, I did not write them down. But as far as I can tell, the actual character who has a very bigger role in the comics is the Russian.
Yes, Moscow, quote unquote.
Yeah,
she's in our thing. She was labeled as Moscow, but what you find out when you watch the episode, she's played by Mariana Clavano. And she's Valentina Vostok, aka Negative Woman. So there have been, like a lot of lesser known superhero teams, there's been a lot of iterations. And for a while there was instead of Negative Man, there was a Negative Woman. She was introduced in Showcase number 94 in August 1977, created by Paul Kupperberg and Joe Staten. And basically, she was trying to flee Russia and defect to the U.S. because it was the 70s. And she crash landed where the original Doom Patrol, quote unquote, died and got possessed by Larry's spirit. And originally, her powers were kind of like they're on the show, where she has better control of it. Like, she becomes the negative spirit, as opposed to like she falls asleep while the negative spirit does its thing. And eventually it degraded. And of course, what you find out, because Niles sucks, is that wasn't an accident. He set that up so that because he was trying to recreate the Doom Patrol. Because again, Niles sucks.
And she and that character popped up on first season Legends of Tomorrow as like a female Firestorm who forces Victor Garber's character and her to merge into like a blue flamey version of Firestorm, and she died.
Yeah,
and she didn't make it.
She didn't make it, but she was played by Stephanie Corneliuson, who also appeared in Legion as David's mom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I really like this character, and also the look of space in this when we get to go to like the asteroid or the moon or wherever
they went. Yeah,
very comic booky. I really enjoyed the look of it, but I love their costumes, that like retro pioneer. It's like just an evolution of like the pulp adventure novels, like I really like that aesthetic a lot. And you wrote down in our notes that they were the pioneers of the uncharted, or the challengers of the unknown.
Well, that
I couldn't say that.
I didn't know about you, but I looked up pioneers of the uncharted and I couldn't find their existence in the comics, and I had to wonder, like, did they want to use the challengers? And DC was like, no, that's our 5th DC Universe show, is the Challenger of the, or that's Challenger of the Unknown, or coming to the HBO Max or whatever.
Sorry, I was going to say the Teen Titans movie, the Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Yeah.
They rip on the Challengers of the Unknown, and it's hilarious. It's genuinely funny. I get why a lot of people wouldn't like that, but I had a good giggle throughout that whole movie.
I'm fine with that. Only good Challenger of the Unknown, not that they don't exist, but the only good Challengers of the Unknown story I've read is New Frontier, Justice League New Frontier. They have a pretty cool part in that. But other than that, whatever, the Challengers of the Unknown. And I also get why you might not want to use them, because, Chip and Specs are already dead. And I like the way they reveal that, because they start wrestling and then later they're still wrestling and they're like uncomfortably sweaty and they're like still doing it and they don't know how to respond to stuff. And so I like this, like, oh yeah, they've been dead a long time. And then they end up buried in the backyard, and which led to my favorite joke in the episode, which was like, if a tree grows here, don't eat the fruit.
Don't eat the fruit. And I like that. And also there's just like kind of a different look at the alien invasion storyline, where it's like, oh, you brought like infected corpses back to Earth, and it's like, yeah, but we thought the theory is that the alien will burn off once they got into the atmosphere, so it's just kind of like we wanted to bury him, we wanted to bring him back. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet. And like they're basically not alive anymore. This is just like corpses slapping each other's butts, which is gross sentence. Which is a really gross sentence. But but
there are worse ways to go. And
I still love the exploration of Larry and the negative spirit. Like, they're getting better.
Yeah.
But they're not like perfect. They don't hate each other.
Yeah.
And he does not. There isn't really like a lot of self-hatred there, except for what's happening with his family. Like, he's trying to be better, but seeing how Negative Woman is able to be in this like symbiotic relationship that seems really healthy. Like, she doesn't kill people when she walks around them. Like, it's a big up. That's a big plus. And you want that for Larry.
Yeah.
Like, you want that option so he can be around his family in a way where he's not fully bandaged up the entire time. And he doesn't feel like he's a danger to others. Like, I want that for him.
Yeah, same. 5 years. And she did that in 5 years.
Did that in 5 years. Been a little longer for Larry. But speaking of space, they built those spaceships prior to NASA, so he needed a little help.
Yes.
And it's a little bit of dark magic, so he feeds the apple to the goat's head.
Yeah.
And that's how they're able to take off. It just makes sense.
It's classic Niles. He always has his own quirky way of working around things. And I liked another favorite moment of the episode is when they're on the asteroid or moon or wherever it is, when Cliff's interaction with Dorothy was very sweet. And I liked him coming around to Dorothy, because obviously he's a little worked up over Jane. And meanwhile, Jane is in her own head trying to keep Baby Doll and whoever it is. It might not be Sun Daddy. Whoever was the other person that was killed from being dumped in the well, because we know that Miranda went down the well, and that's like the only surefire you die in the underground way. And then Miranda shows up, and it doesn't look like she's effing around.
Nope. I'm excited to dive more into who Miranda is, because that was a cool. We learned about Miranda last season.
Yes,
but I'm excited to learn more about the primary before Jane and what caused whatever happened to Miranda and the creation of Jane, because Jane didn't know Miranda.
Yeah,
we did. That's as far as we know, because she learns about Miranda in the first season, or learns more about her, I guess.
Yeah, and Miranda is played by Samantha Marie Ware. I'm
excited to learn more. I'm excited for you guys to learn more about her as well. By the way, cool visual of seeing Candlemaker's feet in the dirt on the moon as Dorothy's walking, and it goes away when she tells it to. But Candlemaker's getting a little scarier. He's getting smarter. He's more developed, and I really like that interaction between Cliff and Dorothy, and I do like when Cliff's listening to Niles, like getting like angry. It's like, wow, why wouldn't you run away from someone who would lock you up for a century? Yeah. Like, also maybe leave Dorothy here. Like, I mean, don't let her die. Like, bring her home. You know, like, take care of her. She's still a person. But it's like, if she's as big of a danger as you're talking about, like, she can make these imaginary friends that have an effect on the Earth and the world and the universe. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the right answer here is. It's somehow all these astronauts lived for a long time. For a very long time, so it's hard to say. Maybe she would be okay. I can't say. Bummer for Cliff at the end.
Because the choice Niles does make is to kick Nick, and you could see it coming. Like, when he asked Cliff to get something out of the airlock, it's like, well, this isn't going to go well. And the impression I get is that Cliff is probably going to fall to the earth, and then Niles is going to run away with Dorothy. Because
another planet, maybe.
Yeah, another planet, maybe. Because again, Niles blows.
Niles blows. But that was such a cool visual, and honestly, I was like, I was kind of expecting it, but also I was surprised by it. I was surprised by the ending. It's like, come on, Niles. Yeah. Like, I wasn't like annoyed. I was just like, God, this sucks. Yeah. And I'm sure Cliff's gonna be fine, but I'm fine. You know, as fine as you can be. But I did want to. The only other final plot point that we did not talk about was Cyborg and Roni, and he's able to scan her body, and he tries to explain what happened in season 1 to her, like with the butts and the and the Mr. Nobody and everything. And we learn that Star Labs and Colt Niles' company developed her bionics, whatever they were, because we get like a hint to the visuals or whatever, and that she had powers at one point, but they're leaking poison into her body. So that's why she's kind of got this like really negative outlook on life. Let's say that she really hates herself, and also she's not trying to fix. There isn't anything to fix. Yeah, like she can't. Like there's nothing to do, which is awful. Like, but her resigning herself to that is depressing, especially for Vic. Like, it's cool seeing this relationship grow, and and I like Roni a lot. So it's probably going to end in not like a super happy way. Like,
why? What makes you say that?
I don't know. Yeah. Usually people aren't allowed to be happy on this show for long, for very long. They're allowed to have like achievements. Like, they can validate their own self-worth, but they can't have like a lot of outside benefits. They can't like, even when like Rita gets to be in a play again, it's about one of the most traumatic days of her life. So, and she didn't even know about it. So, this episode was great. I really enjoyed it. The astronauts were my favorite part, and Negative Woman was great. I wouldn't mind if there was like a space adventure season, or like we went out and like saw like crazy space aliens, or if they came to Doom Manor. I don't know. Like, I like the idea of space being used more, or maybe just the exploration of the negative spirit, like where it comes from. That would be really cool. But honestly, I'd give this actually we did a Stargirl review earlier this week, and I forgot to do a rating for that. I would give this a solid 9 out of 10.
Agreed.
Very much enjoyed this.
Same page. I'm on the same page. I'm very interested to see where the rest of the season goes, and I'm a little bummed that it's a shortened season because it's like it feels like it's really starting to pick up, and all the cylinders are firing. But I'm excited to see where it goes. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the episode.
Yeah, and please subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, and hit us up on Twitter at OnlyStupidAnswers.
You ain't got the vowels from stupid.
Said it right this time. But yes, please subscribe and share. Check us out on Patreon, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.